Welcome back to Grump's Barn, where today we're going to be getting on with replacing the bearing in the auxiliary belt tensioner in the old idler on it. Nice simple job. Now I know if you look out on YouTube you will find one or two versions of this, so you don't need to watch this, but this is the only one where you're guaranteed to get swearing. Yep, that's the only positive I can think about it. Yeah, so yeah, new bearing. Oh, with these bearings, don't bother buying the ones that are sold as the part. Just buy the correct bearing. You can get them a damn sight cheaper. I don't know if you can read that, that's the actual number. I will put it on the thing. I'll put it down below so you've got it there. It's a 6203 2RSH. The 2RSH just means it's got two shields. You can see it's shielded both sides. Keep all the lovely grease in and the crap out, which it does for a while. Right, let's get on and get this thing off. Right, the nut in the middle here is 15mm, and you can get onto it without removing anything at all, as long as you move your fan blades around a bit. So you just literally put onto there and basically try and undo it. You pull this up, takes the tension off the belt. You can then flick the belt out of the way. And there we go, the belt is now out of the way. When you let it back, it will just drop back down. You then undo this belt here on the main tensioner. Well, it's a nut actually. It's a nut on a stud. You can virtually guarantee that nut and stud will come out together. They nearly always do. Both these bolt and the nut on this are both 15mm. I'll just quickly get that undone. Right, rather than you having to watch all this, I'll just switch this back on in a second. There we go. As you can see, one stud with a nut attached. Happens more often than not with these things. Oh, and what I also did before I undid the nut on there, I quickly gave that a loosen. This saves me whacking it in the vise to undo it. And of course, to loosen that, you turn it to the right because it's a left-hand thread. So now I should be able to undo that nice and easily. Very loose. This is the problem with having to hold these things in your hand. Look at that. What a grotty picture. Now let me just undo this. So there you go. You've then got nut and washer. Nut, bolt and washer. And then this just pulls off. Now, you might need to clean that up. I had to get that a wipe off yesterday. There's fuck all on there now. But now if you turn this over, you'll see on the back side there's a C-clip in there. That is fun because it doesn't have any eyes or anything on it to get it out. So I'm going to have to bugger about with a couple of screwdrivers to get that, get the end of it pushed in and then lift it up, get it undone. Well, actually I found my pick got in there better. Little pick, push that under there. Now I've got to carefully ease this up. I'm going to need two hands because as it comes out it springs. I don't want to lose it because I need to reuse the clip. There we go, one clip out. Thankfully it hadn't rotted in there, unlike some of these clips. Now, to get this out, you've got two options. You can either press it out with a press, or you can do it the old-fashioned way with a couple of sockets. I'll show you the socket method. Why not? That's what most people will have. Now you'll see I've got a 17mm socket pushing against the inside of the bearing. I've just got a large socket over here that the bearing can just fall out into. Yeah, I've seen it done where you can put a socket either side of it if you want, rather than have one big one. Just to support this. As you press it out, it shouldn't be particularly tight anyway. In fact, now it's giving it a little turn. Very gently turning it, and there we go, it's through. One bearing out. Very little effort. Thankfully it's not that tight to fit because obviously it's not really doing a hell of a lot. So that's how you get them out. Now to get the new one in, I'm going to need a slightly different size socket. I'm going to need one the same size as the outer race. Whereas to get it out, I was pushing on the inner race with a 17mm, which fits quite nicely over there. I'm now going to have to see which one will be the nicest fit for the outside. Let's have a look what we got here. Well, 27mm is a pretty good fit. Any Land Rover owner will have a 27mm socket because that's the size of your wheel nuts. So we should use that to press the new one in. Get rid of that old bearing. I'll just get the new one out of its pack. There you go, that's the new bearing just sitting in there. It actually sits in quite a way all on its own. This is just, it's only a light press fit really. Unlike most bearings we'll come across. Excuse me. Right, let's just set this up. There you go, you just set your socket nice and centrally on here. And then just very gently wind it in. It's going in very, very easily. And then it will suddenly stop. Do a teeny little bit when it stopped, just to make sure it's thoroughly seated. Then you can take your pressure off. Another check you can do to make sure it's right in properly is if you look in there, you will be able to see the groove that your ring's going to go in. If you can't see that, you haven't got it in far enough. Alright, to push these back in, you locate one end and then slowly push it, spring it round and in to its thing. I can't really show you because I would have put the bloody camera. I didn't bring my mount today. Yeah, that makes several years. There we go. To get that in, I just literally put the screwdriver in the bit that's sticking out and just turn it like that. and push down on it slightly at the same time, and it's gone straight in. Got to push on it to make sure it is thoroughly clipped in all the way around. Yep, no click. If it isn't properly in, it will just go click as it falls into place. You can see if you look, I don't know if you can see very clearly on that. It's beautifully done, all in. Now what we do is spin that over and chuck it back on there. Ready for your bolt and washer. Which you then undo to do up. There we go. Right, I'm going to get a ratchet and tighten that up. I need 2 hands, I need to hold it steady. Right, when it comes to putting this back in, very easy. Just put it back on the way it came off. But note, there's a little nub here, sits at the top. Under here, it would help if I didn't accidentally stop the camera recording as I was about to show you. There's a corresponding hole there for it to go into. And that bit there is where your bolt goes, or your stud rather. Basically you just start screwing the stud in and then just flick it round into position. It actually is very easy, unlike some jobs where it can be a pain in the ass to get these things in. There we go. It's not quite done up yet, but as you can see, the thing is sitting at like a 45-degree angle, and it sits quite nicely in the pegged hole as well. Right, I'll just tighten that down, and then we can put the belt back on. One final thing, just make sure when you're putting the belt back on, say usual thing, undo, using what will be an undoing motion for an normal bolt. That does, it pulls the tensioner up, allows you to get the belt on and off. Just make sure that while you're doing that, your belt is routed properly, like over this top water pump pulley. Make sure it goes round the alternator pulley on top of the power steering pump pulley there, and also make sure that it's properly seated on the fan and down at the bottom on the crank. You can see it all from here, and you can just make sure that it is sitting properly before you go and start that engine. You don't want to damage your belt. So there you go, that's it, done. I can't even start the thing at the moment though, because I have no leak off pipes, or spill pipes, or whatever you want to call them. Because as you know, they got knackered. So there you go. Oh, bloody hell. That sun's a bit bright for this time of year. I'm going to hide behind here. Well, that's it. That's how to do that job. Nice and easy. And in the next day or two, I should be doing that UJ on the prop shaft, although I doubt whether I'll film that. I'm sure I've done that before. I'll check. If I have filmed it all before, then obviously I won't. If I haven't, then I will. Alright then people, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.